My name is Keith Sewell, and I am history professor at Dordt College. I came to the college in 1998, and I've been teaching in the main European and Asian history, also the history of Calvinism and the history of historiography.
I've known Professor Sewell for, this is going on my 12th year. He and Alita Sewell moved here, I think the year before I came. I think they've been here 13 years. So after they'd been here a year, I met them, and I think we met as colleagues. I got to know him a little bit more in depth because I was the editor of the ProRega, have been, and he has submitted, I think, 27 articles to ProRega, and that's only half of his output for journals.
My experience of teaching at Dordt College is really twofold. It's very different teaching the upper level classes of mainly history majors and the larger general education or core classes. My preference, as you might expect, is for the upper level classes. One can see how they are beginning to transcend basic high school notions of the discipline and are, in fact, embarking on an intellectual exercise that, in some cases, they carry forward into graduate level studies.
He's relentless. He is a relentless researcher, studier, writer. He's prolific, and I admire that. And no matter how simple the question that he's asked, he takes it very seriously and forms a thoughtful, serious answer. So he's worked well with students at all different levels and with faculty and with people outside the institution.
I think my two favorite classes would be the history of historiography, that is the history of the writing of history. Perhaps that's because that's the subject in which I did my own doctoral dissertation. The other one would be the history of Calvinism, because many people think they know what Calvinism is, but in point of fact there are a great variety of beliefs and practices that go under the name of Calvinism, and I believe that diversity is best accounted for historically. That's the way to approach the understanding, a good understanding of Calvinism.
It's hard to imagine that Keith Sewell is actually leaving the Dordt College campus, because Keith Sewell's impact on the campus is just something that just never seems to stop. This is a college that Keith said could always be more than what we are today. His love of learning, but his dedication to his students was a combination that really inspired colleagues as well as students. Students always understood that Keith Sewell would encourage them, prod them, but indeed commend them when they did well. Year after year, history majors would come to Keith Sewell and be inspired, and they would remember him after they left. But it wasn't just the students here at Dordt College that Keith Sewell was inspiring. His writing, his faithful attendance at key conferences, which accounts for his absence at our gathering today, is something that he was completely dedicated to. Keith Sewell is someone who always inspired students, colleagues, the administration of the college to be better than we are and recognize that there is no end to what we can do for the kingdom of God if we're only faithful and dedicated and energetic in pursuing that calling.
I know that Walsh and Middleton have written about the difference between being a Christian who is a scholar and being a Christian scholar. And I feel that he has impacted Dordt as a Christian scholar. Stories, just kind of stories that I think of, little flashbacks of meetings, of sitting around with students talking, of him working one-on-one independent studies contract with students, sort of expanding their ideas so that everything is not in little boxes. He kind of opens up those boxes and gives them a broader scope of history and a longer understanding of history. And that's been really a wonderful legacy, I think, to give our students too.
leaving Dordt College, I will certainly miss my colleagues. I would also say that I'll miss the fellowship of Covenant Christian Reformed Church. But I won't miss the weather of northwestern Iowa, and I look forward to more sunshine.